Mr. Speaker, this Friday marks the 40th anniversary of the Food Stamp Act of 1977, landmark legislation that expanded the reach of the food stamp program and made it more effective and efficient. The bipartisan legislation came as a response to the severe hunger and malnutrition that plagued our country in the 1960s. In 1968, a CBS documentary called Hunger in America turned the nation's focus to this terrible problem, making us all aware that even in the United States of America, the richest country in the history of the world, kids were going to school hungry and families couldn't afford nutritious meals. For the next decade, my friend and mentor, Senator George McGovern, a Democrat from South Dakota, and Senator Bob Dole, a Republican from Kansas, led the Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs. This bipartisan panel worked to examine the issue of hunger and malnutrition in the United States. They held field hearings to witness firsthand how devastating the curse of hunger was across this country. They worked together to educate the public and other members of Congress on hunger and worked together to find common ground on how best to tackle this terrible problem. Out of this work came important updates to the food stamp program. The Food Stamp Act of 1977 established national standards of eligibility for the program and eliminated the requirement that recipients pay for their stamps. It was revolutionary and helped to dramatically reduce extreme poverty and extreme hunger in the United States. Since the 1970s, Congress has worked to strengthen the program, making it even more effective and efficient. We've modernized benefit processing and replaced the paper food stamps with EBT cards. We've added incentives for the purchase of healthy foods and improved access to fresh fruits and vegetables. We've updated benefit calculations to exclude combat pay for military families and allow child care deductions to assist families with young children. And in 2008, we renamed the program SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. The modern SNAP program provides millions of children, seniors, and other vulnerable adults with food assistance each year. It helps families lift themselves out of poverty and improves health, educational, and economic outcomes for its recipients. As I hear from families in my district, I learn how powerful SNAP is in transforming lives. Just last week, I heard the story of a graduate school-educated constituent who became disabled and unable to work, and who was resistant to applying for SNAP. She didn't think she fit the profile of someone who needed food benefits, but she did. She applied for and received benefits, and now she no longer panics about where her next meal is going to come from. This constituent wanted us to know that people who use SNAP are not lazy. She said, and I quote, "SNAP helps people at least not have to worry as much about going to bed, school, or work hungry." Another constituent shared that she and her husband rely on SNAP to eat healthier meals. Prior to receiving benefits, they had peanut butter and jelly for almost every meal. Now, with modest assistance, they're able to buy fruits and vegetables. While they still continue to struggle, they're able to enjoy more nutritious meals, and they've seen an improvement in their health. These are just a few stories of how important it is to maintain and increase these life-saving food benefits. Still, as 42 million Americans continue to struggle with hunger and food insecurity, more needs to be done. In preparation for the 2018 Farm Bill, the House Agriculture Committee has conducted a thorough review of the program. We've held 23 hearings and received testimony from dozens of expert witnesses, both liberal and conservative, who all agree that the program is working. Based on this testimony, we've learned that there is no reason whatsoever to undermine the program through structural changes, block grants, further restrictions, more onerous requirements, or cuts, as some of my House colleagues have proposed. Instead, we should be focused on making the program even better. We need to make sure anyone who needs modest food assistance benefits has access to them. We need to support and expand innovative programs that help to increase the purchasing power of SNAP. And we need to increase SNAP benefits, which currently average a mere $1.40 per person per meal, in order to provide families on the program with access to more nutritious food that will last them through the month. Mr. Speaker, SNAP works. It is our nation's first line of defense against hunger and one of the most important tools we have to help lift our neighbors out of poverty. So in the spirit of Senators McGovern and Dole, it is time for Congress to renew their bipartisan commitment to ending hunger in this country once and for all. As we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the landmark Food Stamp Act of 1977, I urge my colleagues to join me in strengthening SNAP and working to end hunger now. I yield back my time.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York.